Thank you, guys. I'm terrible at following briefs, so I will not use the podium. I'm so honored to be here, really. I call all my friends to say that I was doing this one-show gig and that Dave Droga was opening for me in the morning. They didn't buy it at all. They said, no, you're just the dude coming after lunch. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. I put together some material. I mean, my brief was to talk about disruption and reinvention, and I think we have a really cool case with Burger King. I'll start with a video.
Hello, baby. Guess what these motherfuckers done did at Burger King? These motherfuckers done took away from the motherfucking Whopper.
Yum, 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 in my tongue. Yum, 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 in my tongue. Yum, yum, in my tongue. In my tongue. Yum, yum, savory, flame grilled, lettuce, mayo, ketchup, tomatoes, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Lettuce, mayo, tomatoes, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. On the sesame seed bun. Sesame seed bun. My tongue. Sesame seed. Sesame seed. Sesame seed bun. My tongue. Bun. I really like your Whopper. 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 Yum, 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 in my tongue. Yum.
So I still remember when I saw sub-7 chicken for the first time. That was more than 10 years ago. It completely screwed up my day because I spent the whole day typing dance like Michael Jackson, do this, do that. I still remember when I saw Whopperettes for the first time. It was a Super Bowl spot. I still remember Whopper Virgins, which was pretty crazy. Burger King went to like these crazy places to do like the most pure taste test with people that never tried a burger before. I remember chicken fries. I remember Whopper Face, which is probably the only campaign that's there that's not from Crispin. I remember all those things. You know, like, and I used to look at those things and think like, Jesus Christ, I would chop my arm off to be part of that brand and to be part of that team that was doing that cool stuff. And that's what I did. I left my job at Unilever, where I have grown from being like an intern to be the vice president for Dove, and I joined Burger King around 2.5 years ago. And it was a difficult decision. Huh? I mean, I knew everyone from the guy who was the doorman to the CEO. I was there for 18 years. I started as an intern. The last year at Unilever was like amazing. We did real beauty sketches, we did camera shy, we did ad makeover. We left the one show with a box of pencils. Yeah, like we left Cannes with 25 lions. We got the Titanium Grand Prix with sketches. And then I said, it's kind of like getting a little bit like comfort zone here. Let me try something different. So I called Burger King. It has been acquired by 3G, which is a private equity company. And they needed to keep doing cool stuff, and I love the brand. So I moved to Miami, went back to Latin America, right? And people love this brand. You know, like if you go on Instagram and search hashtag Burger King, you'll see like everyone like going crazy, wearing the crown, being themselves, being extrovert. It's a brand that's super democratic. It puts the crown on the head of everyone. Yeah, this is all Instagram stuff. I mean, today is Thursday. I bet that if you go today and search hashtag Burger King, there will be people who took the time to go into like their files, find pictures of them as a kid wearing the crown and post it as Throwback Thursday picture. Just so that you see how powerful that brand is. When I was on Dove, I had to pay people to post stuff. Yeah, here people are like doing by themselves because they love the brand. However,
exciting things are happening at Burger King.
Welcome to Burger King, honey. Your crispy chicken strips. So I said Kung Pao, the Kung Pao with a jalapeno. Have you tried the sauce yet?
Tyler?
Can I get an order of those new crispy chicken strips?
Wow, who's that talking?
Steven? You need a hairnet, Tyler?
You need to get some hair, John.
Exciting things are happening at Burger King. Hey! The new crispy chicken strips. Come and get it at Burger King.
what the fuck was that? Like, this is the type of advertising that we were doing, like 3 years ago. And if you look at like one show, pick any advertising award, and I know it's not just about awards. I'm using that as a proxy because I cannot talk about business results. And look at the number of awards that the brand was winning over time. I mean, it was amazing, like at the crisping era. Then we changed agencies like 3 or 4 times. I mean, pretty bad client, to be honest. Still not great, but getting there. And then it was like 0, and it was not just advertising. I mean, I know that you guys are in advertising, so I'm focusing on advertising. But even if you look at things like packaging, look at the packaging we had. Like it looks like hospital food. Like I did this presentation like 100 times. I don't remember what's written on that pack. Yeah, like a fresh preparation is white, this is king, some bullshit like that. And like I would rather not have nothing written on the pack and have the design doing the talking. Like because no one remembers. I don't remember the variant of the shampoo I use, and I work in personal care for Unilever for so many years. Yeah, people like don't care. They have like bigger things to think of. So if you do a design like that, which is super generic, it doesn't help. Just like that commercial doesn't help the brand. I mean, Burger King, probably in the US, is advertiser in fast food number 5, 6. So we who is the number 1. So they are far ahead in terms of the money they spend. So if I do things that are generic, I'm helping that guy. I'm helping the brand that's top of mind in the category. They probably prefer that everyone does stuff that's generic because it helps the category. They have a much bigger market share than I have, and than any other brand has, by the way. So you are doing yourself a disfavor, and you're helping the guys from Chicago doing generic bullshit. Sorry, I curse a lot. This is like the type of wall graphics that we had inside of the restaurant. Yeah, can't be more generic than that. Like it looks like we are the world. Like an Asian, an African American, a blonde, the guy that looks like the Twilight werewolf guy, like there. And I present this presentation internally at Burger King, and people are like, yes, it's pretty generic. And I say, like, you see, you don't even realize that I'm lying to you. Yeah, those 2 are from KFC and McDonald's, and no one picks on the thing. Because it's all the same. It's like happy people, yeah, like generic bullshit. Sorry, I'll stop cursing. And that's how the category moves. It moves with like food porn. Okay, porn is not a curse word. So food porn, light humor, which is humor that's not funny, right? Do you know any friend? No, really, like, if you think about your friends, it's like, oh, this friend of mine, he's great, he has such a light humor. The guy's lame, no one benefits from having light humor. And then a character or an icon, which is kind of like executional elements, right? I mean, the stuff is generic, so you just slap executional stuff on the spot. It doesn't start with an idea. It starts with like executional elements to be able to hang everything together. And at Burger King, like in Miami, when you arrive, there is like a museum of the brand, and you see Whopperettes, you see Whopper Virgins, you see all that cool stuff, and there is a statue of the king. And I promise you that every day, like when I started, I would arrive in the office. I would walk in that office. The king would look at me. I would look at him. And I promise you that when I got really, really close to the king, I could hear him whispering, he would whisper to me, what the F are you guys doing? Because this brand is so beautiful. When I opened the presentation with the clip from Whopper Freakout, which, by the way, is the campaign that has the highest recall in the history of any brand in the US. And it's a campaign from like 7 years ago, I think. Everyone laughs, and everyone's like, fuck, I mean, this is so awesome. That the brand is like, doesn't take itself too seriously, that's trying to do something different. Some people say like, oh, it's like taking too much risk. I never saw any campaign decline sales. Yeah, we were talking about that, like just before I started to present. Never saw. What happens the most is that nothing happens. Yeah, you don't sell more, you don't sell less. It's just some like drop in the ocean, doesn't make any difference. So taking risk, I think that the biggest risk is taking no risk, which, by the way, is a phrase from David Droga, not mine. But that's what it is, and I will explain to you a little bit like how we go about it. But the point is, we had to disrupt and we had to reinvent. And in our case, it was more of an exercise of understanding why the brand was strong to start with and trying to make that again and make that a little bit more contemporary. I never pronounced that word right. It's a big word for me. But like trying to make it like fresh again, you know. We knew that we do really well with the rational stuff, like the promo, the price points, the architecture of the brand, like the 2 for $5, the value menu, you know, like all that stuff that are the basics for you. You need to get that stuff right. We knew we would do well with the stomach, meaning like the Whopper is flame grill, it's customizable, it's made to order, the tomatoes are chopped fresh in the restaurant, the onions are chopped fresh in the restaurant, chicken fries is a loved item by everyone. We just launched grilled dogs, so we're good on the stomach side. Where I think we were failing was on the heart. Yeah, like we were like very cerebral, very functional, very tactical, but we are not really connecting at the deep level as we used to connect before. And you know, like, and when I think about that picture that I shown you, like in one of the initial charts that shows like the people wearing the crown, in my view, those folks are screaming what the positioning of the brand is. You know, like it's a brand that basically like welcomes everyone. It's super democratic, puts the crown on the head of everyone. And Burger King has the ability to do things differently because we are a challenger brand. We are not the number one. So every time we do it differently, we end up attracting like-minded people, you know? So we try to basically like elevate, have it your way, which to this day people think is the tagline for the brand, even though it's not. Trying to elevate that, which became pretty much about the customization and the transaction, to be more about self-expression. You know, to be more about like, hey, we welcome everyone, we do things differently, and we encourage you to be your own way by welcoming you that is as different as the products that we sell. Yeah? And you can see that happening in real life. You know, like when you do buffalo chicken fries, you get dudes like this that looks exactly like the pack. When we did like Halloween Whopper, which was one of the biggest success that we have ever done in terms of sales, and that happened in Halloween last year, we sold like twice what the average limited edition of a Whopper sells with that thing. Yeah, we saw that lots of new type of guests came, people who usually don't come to Burger King. And this one was the one that we just did, which was the angriest Whopper, which was a red bun infused with spicy sauce. And again, it brought new guests to Burger King. So we kind of like try to articulate this positioning, which is around encouraging people to be their own way, welcoming everyone, which is something that we always did, and doing things differently, not just me too type of product, yeah, because that was a little bit what we were doing. And because we welcome everyone and we do things differently, we attract like-minded people. It's that simple. And then, I mean, I brought as an example like 3 campaigns that I'm really proud of. This was the first campaign we did like 2 years ago, coming out of the positioning exercise that we did with our agencies. So I'll just play the case study so that you see.
When people sit down to eat a hamburger, the last thing they want to be thinking about is 2 guys having sex.
In 2014, we invited people to try the most controversial hamburger in history.
Trending tonight, some of the stories that are hot right now online. Twitter, Burger King.
Proud Whopper.
It's called the Proud Whopper. Introducing the Proud Whopper.
So like it's a gay burger or what is it?
Do gay people even eat fast food?
Yeah, it's about time.
People thought they would find something different with this Whopper.
What is the Proud Whopper?
Yeah, what is the difference?
Like, it really does taste different.
The meat tastes like more like sweeter, or I don't know.
But in reality, the only difference was its wrapping.
It's the same burger.
Oh! We're all the same inside. I like that.
I cried in there because I was overwhelmed. A burger has never made me cry before.
you were totally crying.
Even though the message was simple, making this wrapper wasn't. Ink was applied on both sides of the paper, and text had to be aligned perfectly, all to keep our message hidden until people opened the wrapper. The Proud Whopper wrapper became a souvenir, a collector's item for sale to the highest bidder, a badge of hope. a single design piece that took over social media and mass media publications. It gathered over 1 billion media impressions worth $21 million of earned media, 7 million views, 450,000 blog mentions, and became the #1 trending topic on Facebook and Twitter in 1 week. In the end, this became more than a hamburger wrapper. It became a proclamation of equality.
It makes me feel supported, it makes me feel proud, and it's just a burger, but I mean, it's baby steps the whole way.
I think this wrapper means that we all have the same rights.
So it was not just like a stunt in San Francisco, yeah? Burger King sponsored both San Francisco and New York Pride parades. We dropped more than 100,000 rainbow crowns on the two parades. We had an internal program to increase the CEI, which is the Corporate Equality Index from the brand, which was ridiculously 55 versus a 90 from my key competitor. And we have grown from 55 to 80, and this year is 85. So there was it was disruption not just like on YouTube and Facebook, but it was disruption internally. And it's not easy to approve something like that, guys. I mean, you know that. It's not easy to approve even like it's the same shit, it's the same shit. You know, like every single thing that's on that video, it's a little bit of a fight to make it happen. Because it's much easier to do status quo. It's much easier to not disrupt. Yeah? The video has, this campaign has like more than 95% positive sentiment online. So it's really not risky at all. And it's really not rocket science to put together a media plan to create a wave of positive talkability around a topic like this. You can just go and identify what are the cities that are pro-gay marriage and put all your money behind that. So everyone will say something positive, and then when it reaches some of the places in the US that you know are more conservative, it will be harder for them to criticize. So you can do that type of stuff and minimize risk. And I'm very, very proud of this one, because that to me is disruption for a brand. But it's a disruption that comes from the heritage of the brand. And again, like you do things different, you welcome everyone, you do things differently, you attract like-minded people. The other one, which is much more recent, that you just did, and I've learned so much doing this campaign. We did it like around a month ago. I think it was April 15 was American Sign Language Day. And we did a partnership that we didn't talk much about, to be honest. Like we did a partnership with the largest university for deaf people in the US, which is in DC. And we are sponsoring like 3 scholarships on the university. And we took a Burger King that's literally like next door to the university. And we took down every single design element of the restaurant, the menu board, the signage for opening the door, the signage on the bathroom, the signage outside, everything, and we turned into sign language. Yeah? And we know that deaf and hard of hearing people know how to read English. That's not the point. The point was that we wanted to make sure that they realized that we were doing something for them. So it was not about making them understand because they know how to read. It was more about the other people who don't speak sign language not understanding what was there. I will play you the case study film, and I will talk a little bit more about this one. And there is no sound. So I don't know if you know, but like most of the restaurants, if you ask, they have what's called a picture menu, you know, like which is a menu that makes it easier for people who are deaf or hard of hearing communicate to the cashier or to the waiter. So we are renewing the picture menu for Burger King, and we are going to include on the cover page the king doing the sign. I don't know if you know, but like the way signs are created in American Sign Language is it needs to come from the people. Yeah, there is no like institution who says like, oh, this is the sign for chair, this is the sign for door. Like it's like people, they start using the sign and then it becomes official. And that's why the campaign was articulated the way it was. You know, that was why it was the king asking for people. By the way, the king never spoke before, so we felt it was appropriate to have him inviting people to send what is now the sign for the Whopper, and we're going to like show that to our crew members, and then people will be able to order by just doing the sign, which again is about welcoming everyone, is about acting differently, and then attracting like-minded people. The last one I have is this guy here. So this is a campaign that was like between 4 and 5 years in the making, believe it or not. It came from YNR, New Zealand, which, if you are like me, you probably have even a hard time to identify where is New Zealand on the map. It's like if you spot Australia first, and then New Zealand is like a small island like around here, I think. And the guys like called us and said, hey, we have this like really cool idea which we've been trying to sell since forever to all sorts of people, and no one seems to buy into it. So here's a video explaining what the idea was, and the idea was really, really simple. The idea was buy one page on the New York Times and on the Chicago Tribune, just to make sure that McDonald's would read it. And the letter reads like, hey, it's an open letter from Burger King to McDonald's. The tone is not corporate, it's more like personal, but without being mocking, you know what I mean? Like it's like a letter, like, hey McDonald's, how are you guys? It's been a while, we don't talk. Hey, we are writing to table an idea with you. Don't know if you heard about this, but there is this one thing, there is one NGO called Peace One Day, and their objective is to institutionalize, another big word for me, September 21st as a global day of peace where war would stop, and the day would be used for music, sports, and vaccination of the kids on the war zone. So this is serious and legit. Yeah, the founder of Peace One Day is Jeremy Gilley. We had to negotiate with him, explain our idea to him, and we became gold sponsors of Peace One Day as Burger King. Anyway, so we then go to propose, so our idea is to showcase that even some like fierce like corporate rivals like us can join forces for one day to create what we believe will be the most talked about sandwich in history, the McWhopper. The best pieces of the Big Mac with the best pieces of Whopper combined in one peace-loving sandwich. Imagine how many times I read this letter to approve this campaign so that I can like, yeah, like tell the letter entirely almost without even looking at the screen. So let's end the beef with beef. We created this website, it's McWhopper.com, which is still on air. The desktop version is even better than mobile, but you can check like 1 year back on your computers. It's a pretty cool website. I will show a glimpse of that. This is the beast. So we made a proposed build of the sandwich to make it easier operationally on how to build the sandwich. We didn't want to make in every single restaurant because we know that's impossible. Yeah, they have double our number of restaurants and it will create chaos in the kitchen. So what we suggested was to do in one location and one location only in Atlanta, which is literally like the midpoint between Chicago and Miami, our the two head offices. And then we proposed like a build that would be easy for the crew members to put together. It's literally like the top part of the Big Mac and the bottom part of the Whopper. To make sure that they saw the stuff, we also did some out of home. This is in front of their, this is in Chicago, is in front of their most iconic restaurant in Chicago. We did a website. The website is like, it was a global campaign, so we had it in 4 different languages, and it basically explains the proposal, the letter, the uniform. There has 2 videos explaining like what we are trying to accomplish with Jeremy Gilley, who is the founder from Peace One Day. And you see that the press was all picking up on the website because the website is actually like a media toolkit. Yeah, like disguised as a website. So it's a Tumblr website, beautifully designed. You just scroll down and you see like the things coming to life. So it all hit at the same day, which was I think August 26th. We put the website, the 2 open letters, and the out of home came like around that time too. And this is what happened.
You guys have been waiting for.
No.
I don't know if you saw this.
Yes.
This is the New York Times today. There was an ad that was taken out by Burger King.
To McDonald's when Burger King
asks McDonald's to join forces
to create the ultimate burger.
The McWhopper.
McWhopper.
McWhopper. McWhopper. Thank you, Hooper.
McWhopper.
Proceeds would benefit the nonprofit called.
Like I could spend the rest of my time, which is literally like 5 minutes now, just talking about, oh, it was in CNN, it was here, it was there, it was here, it was there, it was everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to show a chart at the end of the results, but we got 8.9 billion impressions, yeah? Just so you get the picture. Like Proud Whopper was 1.1, Whopper sign was 200 million. This guy, 8.9 billion impressions, the equivalent of $138 million of earned media. It was literally like everywhere. So the proposal hit on August 26th. McDonald's replies really quick, like they replied literally like at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. That day via social media with basically like a letter from their CEO. And this is what happened.
Sadly, McDonald's CEO nixed the idea.
We love the intention, but think our 2 brands could do something bigger to make a difference. P.S. A simple phone call will do next time.
What an
Are they stupid?
Dude, people went crazy. Yeah, like there are comments. I mean, I think that they deleted the response by now, but like if you go there and you try to find, there are comments like giving like a moral lesson on the CEO that have more than 3,000 likes on the comment. Yeah. So people went crazy. And we were prepared for any scenario. If they say yes, they say no. If they say a soft yes, soft no, like we had like our peace room, it was not a war room, prepared like to handle like all sorts of situations. And as part of the campaign, we built it in a way that even if they said no, allow people to do their McWhoppers, because we know people love food mashups and they want to do it. So there was a component which was all about DIY, you know, like a do-it-yourself McWhopper, and people really jumped in.
By our online burger build film, the DIY McWhopper was born.
And if you're looking to make the McWhopper a reality, you'll just have to take matters into your own hands. To date, thousands of do-it-yourself McWhoppers have been created and shared on social media.
Why isn't this a real thing?
This is the first time I've ever eaten a burger for world peace. I mostly just eat them because I'm hungry.
Know Francis, but people who like video games probably know Francis. That video has almost 2 million views, you know, like, and it's not paid. It's like the guys just went crazy online. And then people were doing that stuff. McDonald's said no, and then something completely unexpected happened. We had 4 other burger chains coming to us saying like, oh, if they don't want, we want, yeah? So. Denny's, which is like I think it's a local player here in the US, is more like a diner, but they had a burger that was called, I think it's called the Slam Burger. So they put like one page on the New York Times inviting us to create the Slopper, yeah, the Slam Burger with the Whopper. We had Crystal, we had Wayback Burger, we had Girafas, which is a chain mostly from Brazil, all coming to us publicly saying like, we'll do it in the name of peace and this and that. And then, you know what we did? We did it with the 4 guys, yeah? So we issued another letter saying McDonald's, saying like, hey, world, we are like flattered by the attention and like and the engagement that you guys have with this campaign. We were surprised to see these other 4 brands coming, so we are saying yes to all of them. So imagine like the calls with legal or operations, because you need, in the end of the day, you need to build a burger with ingredients from different brands. Yeah, one of them is not even in the US. And we literally like made the thing happen. Yeah, so in Atlanta on September 21st, we did what we call the Peace Burger, and we serve around 2,000 for free for anyone who came. So the campaign had like several PR moments, right? It had like the ladder, the no, the other guys coming to invite us, and we did it. Yeah, and of course, the biggest moment is like the ladder. And then it's like declining because the media moves on to talk about Trump or something else. So this is the third case. I have 30 seconds, but I think I can do it. So just wrapping up, 5 things for you to take with you. Yes, disruption is great, reinvention is great, most brands probably need it, but don't just do it for the sake of doing it. You need to go back and first define your brand positioning, like what you want to stand for, what your brand is about, and then you can think about disrupting and creating something disruptive within that. Else it will be just some random stuff, some random stunt. Second is align expectations internally. Yeah, like especially if you're a marketeer, like on our side. But even like align expectations between the agency and the client. Sometimes the client says like, oh, I want to win a Grand Prix and this and that, but actually he just wants a product shot. You know what I mean, right? Or huge ambition, no budget. In this case, this is a quote from our CEO back then, from Daniel Schwartz. Like, we need to make this brand cool again. So when he said that, we were very clear to him, like, do you understand what that entails? Like, do you understand like what type of thing you have to do to accomplish that? I'm almost wrapping up. I'm almost finishing, okay? I mean, my time is over already. Third one, well, be prepared to eat alone in the cafeteria. Yeah, like you need to be okay with that. When you try to disrupt something and do something different, you're going to break status quo. People don't like that. Even the people who say they want to do that, they will say like, no, but that's too much. No, why don't we do like that other thing? Yeah, which is, it's not going to work because there is no voltage on that other thing. So you need to be very confident and stick to your thing and just go for it, and you build some friends and some enemies on that path. Fourth, don't fear uncertainty. The campaigns that I liked the most, when they were first presented, I had no clue how we would pull that off. Yeah, like sketches, how do you find an FBI sketch artist? I think it's probably everything is done on the computer. Like, by the way, what if the women don't see the difference between the two drawings and have no reaction? Yeah, like Proud Whopper, well, how the hell do you print ink inside the burger? Because the fat of the burger takes the ink out and it will impregnate the sandwich and people will die with the ink, Like, how the hell do you edit a film in sign language? Yeah, when no one on the agency speaks sign language. So can you imagine the editing process of that thing? McWhopper, what if like what if my biggest competitor sues my ass off? Yeah, because I'm using their trademarks. Like, uncertainty, right? And last one, be nimble. You know how much time it took for us to say yes when the 4 brands invited us to do the thing with the Peace Burger? It took us an hour to say yes. Yeah, and align with legal, with ops. Well, the guy from ops looked at me and said like, man, we were working on this fucking thing for like almost a year to do like 2 sandwiches, and now we want to mix like 5? I have no clue how we're going to do this, but yeah, let's do it. The legal people were like insane because legal people tend to be more conservative than average. I mean, I don't know if you have the same experience as I have, because there is no upside for them. If it works, oh, great for the creative guy, for the marketeer. If it doesn't work, it's like, fuck, why did legal approve that shit? If I were in legal, I wouldn't approve anything. But like in our case, it was 5 legal teams on the table, and we were able to pull it off. So you have to be nimble. So just in summary, start with the positioning, align on the ambition, don't be afraid to eat alone in the cafeteria. It's actually very nice. I mean, you can check your Facebook. Uncertainty is good, and have a little bit of startup mentality and be nimble. That's all I had, guys. Thank you.